Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a new live stream. Something that I thought it'd be fun to do. Obviously, there's a bit of a gap in me and Dave's is this thing on, and I do enjoy doing live streams. It's obviously much more fun with someone else. But hopefully, it'll be a little chat with whoever's watching and whoever's in the comments. Please say hello if you are watching. And this one is about gigging. It's about my music life. It's bouncing off something that I started creating when I was 50. So I'm 55 now. So 5 years ago, ironically, just before I got really ill. But I had this 50th birthday, and as it was building up, I posted a few things on Facebook. I posted up 50 favorite films, 50 favorite novels, 50. What was the other one? I don't know, but I also did 50 gig memories, and it was a lot of fun writing it. It was reminiscing about stuff that's been great experiences is a really lovely thing. So I found it by accident when I was looking through some emails. I was they got this new thing on my Yahoo account where I have to I've only got a limited amount. I had to delete loads of messages, those emails. So I was looking for emails with attachments, and then this came up, this 50 gig memories. And I thought it was kind of a fortuitous timing because it's a bit of a milestone at the minute with the gigging, because we've in Bemis, we've come up with a bit of a crossroads, which I'll get onto in a minute. I'll talk about that when I talk about the number 50, which is the gig that happened on Tuesday. That's the number 50. Because when I did find this, it was incomplete. For some reason, some of it wasn't filled in. So I thought, well, I'll fill it in with what's happened in the last 5 years. So there's some memories there from more recent stuff. But, hopefully you'll get the references. There's a few support slots I've done and things like that, and some festivals I've played at. So hopefully that'll be interesting. And obviously, please bounce off whatever I'm saying if you find it interesting or you've got a question about something. That would be cool. This is something I might have done on my Patreon channel because obviously this is about my own sort of music life, and that kind of relates to my writing because I'm a songwriter. So I might have done that, but then I thought that would be just for a few people rather than, this might be more interesting for more than a few people. So I decided not to put it on the Patreon, but I am committed this weekend after a horrendous week to reading more of the Brown Yelp Gang on my Patreon channel. So that's definitely happening. So 50 gig memories. And the first one will give some explanation for the thumbnail, because you might have been thinking, why has he put this random bit of Thailand in the picture? And I'll explain. Actually, what I first need to do is say hello to people. So Heidi's here. Hi, Heidi. Thanks for popping in. Aaron's here. Aaron Hook. Hi, Aaron. Hope you're all right. And Crystal's here. Chris has been very generous. You asked me if I'd received the books, and obviously a little while back you sent me an amazing anthology of writings about non-fiction book about science fiction. So I was really grateful for that, and I did mention that. I hope you saw that. I mentioned that in the video I did. What was it? I did a video about. Oh, I can't remember what the video was about, but I added. But that was like an additional thing I put at the end of it. But I have received 2 other books, which I was going to do a separate video on. But if that's, well, I've had 2 Ray Bradbury books. Did you send me 2 Ray Bradbury books? There was no note or anything like that. So, is that the 2 Ray Bradbury? If it is, you've done an amazing thing, because there are 2 Ray Bradbury books I haven't got, and there's not many Ray Bradbury books I haven't got. There's like literally a handful. So it was the Halloween Tree and Dinosaur Tales, I think it was. So you've written Hess. Is that supposed to be a yes? That's a yes. Oh wow, fantastic! Thank you so much. Really, really grateful. I am a completist with Ray Bradbury, so there's a few I need to get. So that's just amazing. I've got that. So thank you so much. That's brilliant. So yeah, I will be talking about that on another video. And I've got a book I've just ordered by Harry Harrison I've never seen before, like a a spy parody thing written by Harry Harrison. When that comes, I've got a few things I'd like to do, like a little book haul video on, and I'll mention them then. So might be a bit of a gap, but so grateful. Thanks, Chris. Right, so let's get on to this list. I haven't got any more comments yet, so let's talk about this list. Thanks for popping in, guys. Right. So the first one I wrote, every night we played in the beach club in Phuket. A ridiculous gig, 6 nights a week for 5 weeks, and an insane experience. It was crazy. This is all thanks to MySpace. So I don't know if you guys remember MySpace, but I'll always be eternally grateful to MySpace. It was the first big social media platform for promoting musicians. Facebook nicked a few of their ideas, and people started using Facebook instead of MySpace. But MySpace was really innovative at the time. And I got this message from this promoter in Phuket. He was working for a hotel called Twin Palms Hotel, and they had a beach club called the Catch Beach Club. And he said, we'd like Bemis to play in our beach club, and we'll pay for you to come over. We'll pay for all the food and drink, and we'll also what was it? So the hotel, and the hotel as well, which was a luxury hotel. And then something I forgot by the time I was there, but I was reminded at the end, they also paid us at the end as well. Ridiculous. So I don't know how much money they spent on us. We were there for 5 weeks. So we were there for so long, we had to get a work permit in the middle of while we were there for the last week or so, because the work permit we got over here gave us a month's work. So we played for 6 nights a week, and we were 4-hour sets. We had to just make sure we were at the beach club by 7, 8, 9, 10. By 7, because we were playing 8 till 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 4-hour sets. We were we could do whatever we wanted in the day, and we just had to make sure we were there for 7 so that we were all right for the sound checking and stuff. Although it was quite a simple setup for us. We were a duo at the time, and it's just 2 guitars, 2 vocals. It was quite an easy setup. And we had Mondays off. So on Monday we explored Phuket a little bit more. We went to PP Island and all that. It was just ridiculous. It was a really, like, the gigging side of it was a really interesting experience, because we were working in this beach club, and we were basically playing for the patrons that were there to eat at the restaurant and all that. And they were they were a bit removed from us. They were kind of in another part. There was a bit of a big gap. It was a very posh beach club. So where we were was this big bit in the middle, and the actual people, the tables where they were eating, were miles away. But we did get some really interesting comments, and people come up to us and talking to us in our breaks and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just amazing, and I'll never forget it. I'd love to go back to Thailand. Probably Phuket again. I don't know. Could go back to the mainland, but it was just that crazy thing of I didn't even take it seriously at first. And a friend of mine said, "Why don't you just reply to it and see what happens?" So I was like, "Yeah, right." So I replied to it, and then I got all these instructions about the work permit and stuff. I thought, "Christ, this is serious." And at the time, I was working in Blackwell's bookshop. And the manager there was lovely. She was like, "Well, yeah, you got to take the month off, and don't worry about it. We'll just, just have a good time." And it was great. So that was number one. I won't take that long talking about every single one of these, but that needed a lot more explanation. But that was amazing. Oh, and by the way, as well, before we left, well, we had been. This is back in 2007. And we'd been a proper active duo, rehearsing all the time and working together properly for a year, or just less than a year, actually. So so we'd known each other for a long time, but we were kind of properly active for a year, and we had 40 songs in our repertoire, and we knew because we were playing for that long, we'd have to keep adding to it. So we added to it while we were there. So we'd add extra songs. And by the time we'd finished, I wrote the list of the songs that we'd played over the 5 weeks, and we'd played 99 different songs. And we never used lyric sheets, so we were learning lyrics as we were doing it as well. So yeah, we really honed our partnership while we were there as a duo. Number 2 goes way back, because this goes back to when I was 18 years old, and that was playing again in a duo, but a different duo, in front of John Renbourn. So I don't know if you know John Renbourn. He's a folk legend, and we played in front of him as like a floor spot in a folk club, and he was sitting in front of us grinning, and that's just the most amazing thing. He did an amazing set, obviously, as John Renbourn. So he was from Pentangle, I don't know if you know that, and he did some duo albums with Bert Jansch, like a British folk guitarist legend, you know. So that was great doing that. And I was only 18 then, so that was a really good thing for me to think that this is worth doing, this music thing. Number 3, again, I was 18, doing a short set before Show of Hands. And then Steve Knightley from Show of Hands walking on stage and saying, "How do we follow that?" Never forget that. It was very nice of them, and they were nice of him. And he was very generous through the whole thing. And I remember going up to him to buy something on the merch stall, and we'd made a cassette at the time. And he said, "Oh, well, hold on, you don't have to pay for it. Let's do the swaps." So he gave me a Show of Hands CD, and I gave him a cassette that we were selling at the time. So that was pretty cool. So it was just very nice. And both of them, Steve Knightley and Phil Beer, really, really nice. I'm going to mention him later on as well. The 4th one here, my first duo, which is again the same thing. They were called Before and After. We were offered a folk club tour in the north of England, and our accommodation would have been sorted. It would have been. I was told that it was just like going around different parts of north of England playing at the folk clubs, but there was like a network of places we could stay. I was so excited, and that was the moment when my partner at the time said, "Gareth, this is way too serious. I'm doing this for fun. I don't want to go on some North England folk club tour. That's too serious. I'm leaving." So that was a crazy moment, because I was kind of really excited that this was happening, that we were offered this in person by someone who came to Portsmouth to watch the night and then met us and wanted to offer us that because they were running folk clubs up north. So that was the moment when I became solo. And yeah, so it was memorable because it was a sign that what I was doing or what we were doing, but obviously eventually what I was doing as well, because I went solo, but what we were doing was working. I did have real trouble dealing with the fact that he didn't want to do it, because I felt like it was the vocal harmonies that was our selling point. So I had a lot of imposter syndrome with me playing on my own. Still do, actually. So I've been playing for 30 years, more than 30 years, 37 years. Wow. 37 years. And I still don't like playing on my own, but I'm going to do that. I've got some solo gigs set up, and I'll explain why at the end, why that's a thing. But yeah, that was hard for me to adjust to. Number 5, supporting Mid-Jaw. So I can't remember what year it was, 2013 maybe. We supported Mid-Jaw. So Mid-Jaw is obviously famous for writing the Band-Aid Dylan Oates Christmas song, but he was in Ultravox for a long time. Their most famous song is Vienna, number 1 over here. Big 80s icon. It was a very strange gig. He turned out not to be a particularly nice guy, and really up himself. Like the guy who booked him wasn't allowed to talk to him, and we weren't allowed to use the green room because we were just support. And he also insisted that even though we were a duo, we had to do separate solo sets. So I did a solo set, and then Richie did a solo set where we were both playing the songs that we normally do together. It was really strange, but it was an honour getting asked to support him, and it was an honour supporting him. It's nice to say that we've supported Mid-Jaw, but strange man. Yeah, I could talk quite a while about what he did. He really shafted the fans because they were all outside the venue at the end of the gig holding LPs hoping he'd sign them, but he just buggered off, which I thought was very rude. Number 6, the first New Theatre Royal show. So we've got a few theatres in Portsmouth. We've got the big, the one where, well, I suppose that, but yeah, I think it's bigger. It's older. We've got one called the King's Theatre, but we've got one, the New Theatre Royal, which is downtown. That's a really nice theatre, actually. And we did, the first time we appeared at the New Theatre Royal, we've done it a few times, but the first time we did, we were supporting friends of ours called the Visitors. And that was the first time, really, we made a big point of having full band with 4 of us, guitar, bass, drums. And the drummer at the time, fantastic drummer, but he couldn't stay in the band too long because he started a family and he just ended up committing to that. But he came back a couple of times though. But that was a great gig at the New Theatre Royal. That was really fun doing. Number 7, I've written the first time I played my Seagull. So my guitar, my Seagull guitar, it still exists, but I don't play it much because it's been replaced by a better guitar. But it was I spent, that was the first guitar I bought on money that I got from selling those cassettes. So yeah, it's a lovely guitar. They're handmade in Canada, and at the time they weren't particularly known. They didn't just come over here, so it was quite good price. Now they're much more expensive. But yeah, that was I can't even remember. It would have been one of the folk spots I did in the folk clubs back then, because I would have been like 18, 19 maybe. No, maybe 19. Number 8, playing Guildfest in between 10cc and Mungo Jerry. So that was pretty cool. So we've done Guildfest, a festival in Guildford, quite a number of times. We must have done it 9 or 10 times probably. I'll have to have a look to sort of count them up. But one of the times, my favourite time really, because we did, I think it's going to get mentioned again in a minute because we did another memorable one. But this one, what was really good, we were on the acoustic stage and we were second from last. And after us was Mungo Jerry. So he's famous for the "In the Summertime When the River is High, when you get up down, that one. That was his big number 1 over here. But before us, on the same stage, was 10cc. So that was mad that we were playing after 10cc on the same stage. I was proper pinching myself, thinking, this is amazing. We're clearly doing something good. But it is funny because turns out Andrew Goldman, I think is it Andrew Goldman? That seems wrong. Graham Goldman. I'm not 100% sure of the surname, but the surviving original member from 10cc, bit of a dick apparently, because he wouldn't let us get anywhere near the backstage until he'd left the festival site. So not just leaving the stage, the backstage area, but he had to get a message to the security. The security had to get a message back to the acoustic stage backstage to say he'd left the festival site before we could go backstage to tune up our guitars and get ready to play our set. So it was a mad rush because normally you get about 15-20 minutes between sets at a festival, and we were like waiting to be able to go backstage to tune our guitars. And by the time we got back there, we had like 2 minutes. It was ridiculous. And that was because he was like making this big fuss that he had to be off the site completely. So that was weird. But it was great to go on after them was quite something. And Mungo Jerry, by the way, who played after us, was lovely. A really, really nice guy. And because it was Richie's birthday that day, which is also the week that in the summertime was number 1. Was it 1970? I can't remember the date that In the Summertime came out, but yeah, I think it was 1970. Mungo Jerry asked Richie if he'd like to go on stage with him, and classic Richie went, "Nah, it's all right." So I would have done, but yeah, he didn't want to do it. So number 9, balcony TV. That was great. So this is kind of gigging, but it was a recording that was being made. But we went to London, to Camden, where Balcony TV filmed their videos, and they put them on the YouTube channel called Balcony TV. And I can't even remember how we got the gig. It might have been that I found out that you could apply for it, and it might be that I applied for it. I genuinely can't remember. But it was very quick. It was quite expensive because obviously we had to pay to get to London, do this thing that took about half an hour, and then come back again. But it was really enjoyable. We were so glad to be on the roster of people that are on Balcony TV, because it's a whole load of people from different countries that are on Balcony TV, and we really enjoyed it. It was really good. They in the end, because clearly there was thousands of people they'd done over the years, they streamlined what they put on their site, and our video became unlisted. So I downloaded it quick, and I've put it up on. I think I put it on the Bemis channel. I don't think I put it on this channel. I think I put it on the Bemis channel. So there is footage still of that, and we do a little plug for the album that we just made and stuff like that. So that was really good. Number 10. No one's making any comments. I'm keeping an eye on the comments if anyone wants to say anything. Number 10, playing as part of a 2-day event on Spitbank Fort. Yeah, so that was playing in the middle of the sea on a fort that was in the sea. So between Portsmouth and the Isle of Wight, on the Solent, there are 3 forts in the sea. There's some forts that are fortifications. There's some on land as well, but the ones in the sea, clearly you can only get there by boat, and they're not used that much. But these guys that were friends of ours were in this band called Cool Banana, and they decided that they'd organise a 2-day festival on the Spitbank Fort, which is one of the forts there, and they booked us to play it. And it was so cool because there was this great atmosphere, because we were in the middle of the sea on a fort playing, and there was if you wanted to go home, if you want to go back on the land, you had to get the one boat that was going back at 8 o'clock in the evening. So if you didn't get on that one, you'd be there overnight. And we didn't plan to stay overnight, so we had to keep an eye on the time. And I remember it was a mad rush, because we were like, oh my god, it's 8 o'clock. We had to go to where the boat was that could take us home. But it was really good, and the atmosphere was fantastic. So that was a great memory. Number 11, the first time playing with Louis. Yeah, next to me. So Louis is my son, and he's in the band regularly. He's a big feature of the band. He's been on the last 3 albums, and he first played with us when we were 11. And it's just amazing playing with us, or playing with us. But this was when we were doing a pub gig, but we were also kind of making it a bit of a special one, because it was me and my wife's wedding anniversary, and because of that, he did a set on his own, and I joined him for some of it. And we did some songs together, and it was kind of like trying to make it special for her as well. So that was great. So that was the first time that we played together, and we did like Suzanne Vega's Luca, and what else did we do? We did Blackbird. We worked out duo versions for him of my stuff as well, I think, from what I remember. Can't remember what else we did, but it was a little set that we did together. It was really cool. And he's 25 now. We've been playing together for a long time. Number 12, the first Times Effect gig with Jess. So Times Effect was the name we gave to this family band, which was made up at the first instance of me and my son and the bass player at the time of Bemis. But then we've expanded it so that it now features my daughter, and so it was me and my 2 kids, and we called it Times Effect because at the time, not so much now, but at the time he looked like me, so we thought it'd be a fun name to call it Times Effect. So the first time we did a gig with Jess, it was just really special to be doing it with both of them. It was we did a short half-hour set somewhere, but then shortly after that we did a full 2-hour set with the 3 of us, and it was just really good. And basically, because to make it different from Bemis, she was the lead singer and we were singing around her. So we were doing harmonies around her. So the set was all built around her. So it was different kinds of songs. So it was really cool. On the number 13, a riotous, crazy private festival. This is with my mate Steve, and we played for double the amount of time with the wild crowd chanting, "You'll never reach that. You'll never reach the station." And they kept chanting, "You'll never reach the station. You'll never reach the station," as they as we were. That's kind of their version of shouting encore or more or whatever they were shouting. "You'll never reach it," because we were saying we needed to get back, and it was just absolutely crazy. We're in this huge marquee, and I remember the guy that organised it, a friend of mine, said that we had the advantage it was raining, so everybody that was in the field went in that marquee, and it was just absolutely rammed, and they were all pissed out of their heads, and the atmosphere was incredible, and they were shouting aggressively the lyrics at us while we were singing, and we were just doing like these, like, because we were getting off on that, the adrenaline was like firing like mad, and we did some of the best versions of some of the songs we do because of like reacting to this crowd that were absolutely amazing. So yeah, that we laugh when we just mention that we were doing that. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, and I think this year is the anniversary one of that. I think it's like 20 years or something that particular festival has been going. So I'm hoping we can do it this year again. And yeah, it was just phenomenal. Aaron said, "I'm surprised he didn't call the family band the Howlers." Yeah. So many names, so many possibilities. That's really cool. They loved you guys. They really did. It was so cool. And that's the thing. You get a good gig is all about having good audience. When I get to number 50, when I talk about the gig we did this week, it wasn't big audience, but it was a really good audience, and it made us feel good, even though I was personally disappointed that we didn't sell as many tickets, but because we sold out that place twice before, but the audience were great. So it was great. It's all about how good the audience is. It's always about how good the audience is. Number 14, Christmas busking at Gunwharf. So there's a massive shopping centre down in Portsmouth called Gunwharf. It's called Gunwharf because it's on the wharf. It's on the seafront. It's facing the sea, but next to the harbour. And we played for 6 hours in Santa Claus outfits. And because we were having a good time and we didn't really need it, we just took 1.5 hour break in those 6 hours. Just 1.5 hour. We just kept singing all these songs over and over again. We got quite a lot of money for it, which is good because it was Christmas week. It was like 3 or 4 days before Christmas. And we were asked to play it. They booked someone else to play like another part of Gunwharf. But we were playing just to kind of bring some atmosphere to the Christmas shopping. And we only had about 4 or 5 Christmas songs, but we were playing loads of just other famous songs, but we just played for ages. But it was great. That was good. That was also in the days that we were a duo. Number 15, supporting the Bob Dylan project. So that was great. That was in the venue that's down the road that's closed down now, but we did so much great stuff in that venue. That was also where we supported Mid-Euro as well. But we supported the Bob Dylan project, where these 5 it was like a super group of these people that have been known, not like mega famous, but they've known in the sort of rootsy folk rock kind of world. And although one of them is a big name, which I'll mention, but we supported them. I was very excited to support them. It was a great night, and 2 of them joined our set for one of the songs. So the most famous guy, I don't know if you guys know the guy, but the most famous guy in that band is Dave Pegg, who was in Jethro Tull for a long time, and he's been in Fairball Convention since 1970. So he replaced Ashley Hutchings in Fairball Convention. Dave Pegg is a lovely, lovely guy. We've supported projects he's done a few times, but this was the first time I met him. And him and a guitarist called PJ Wright, who's also well known on the circuit. Those two joined us for the Wait, and there's video on the Bemis channel of us playing the Wait with him, and he's just sitting behind a keyboard singing backing vocals. Dave Pegg is, and Steve Wright does his PJ Wright does his really cool guitar solo in it. But The Wait by the band, I don't know if you know that song, but we've done that many times over the years, and there's lots of footage of us doing that on YouTube as well. But that was great having Dave Pegg join us. That was very special. Chris says, do you have a strong local following? Is it larger than that? Our local following is, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, we're definitely known in the town. We've had 3 awards in our time. We got a Folksy Rootsy Award back in 2008 from Portsmouth, best roots band or whatever, and we had an award from like Bournemouth Pool kind of area for Breakthrough Act, and that was in 2008 as well. But the biggest award we've had, which was in Portsmouth, where we've got the best band, and there's tons and tons of bands in Portsmouth and the kind of in the surrounding area. So it was a real accolade to get. We were quite shocked that we'd got it, and we've sold out the big theatre, which is probably listed here somewhere. We sold out the big theatre in the Royal before. We sold out the Wedge before, which is our big venue. Numbers, because we've been going for 20 years, numbers sort of fluctuate now. Sometimes we get loads and loads of people, sometimes we don't. We've got people who say that we're their favourite band. We've got lots of people have covered my songs. We've got people have used one of my songs as in a funeral a number of times, which is really nice. Very honoured with that. We've got someone who's got, well, they've got 2 people apparently that have got tattoos of us. So yeah, I mean, it's that's the reason why I was a bit gutted that we struggled a bit this time, and I couldn't give it full attention because everything happening at the moment. But yeah, we have played in front of massive audiences on our own gigs, as well as obviously playing at massive audiences at festivals and that. So yeah, but we're known locally, but also known in random places around the country as well, which is great. Yeah, we've done all right. Number 16 is playing a full set with Al Murray as our drummer. So I don't know how well you guys know a British comedian over here called Al Murray, the pub landlord. He's quite a divisive, satirical kind of parody kind of character, the pub landlord, because it's one of those weird, delicate things where he's kind of taking the piss out of people who think like the pub landlord, but a lot of the people that like him think he's genuine. So there's a funny one, and he'll say outrageous things about the French or about the Germans or about how wonderful English people are, but it's a parody. But anyway, really nice guy, and we were friends with a band that had him as a drummer, and we were playing at this place in Guildford. Yeah, it was in Guildford, and we didn't have our drummer that night, and we were going to go on and do it without a drummer. And then the guy that's friends with Al Murray said, "Well, why don't you ask Al?" And we were like, and I was like, "Well, he's probably never seen us." And he was like, "Well, just ask him." So I went up to him, and this guy is a very famous comedian over here, and I said, "Hi, Al, do you want to play drums in our set?" And he went straight away, "Yeah, all right." And he just winged it, and it was fantastic. And one of my favourite moments was there's a song that I was talking about that's been played in funerals. It's a song called "People Live On," and he just managed to read the room with that song incredibly well. And he was like doing some great dynamic stuff without ever hearing the song before. And it's just really cool. I think that's one of the songs that's on YouTube, and you see the way he plays, and he keeps bringing it up and down according to what you need for that song. It's just so brilliant. And he tweeted on Twitter about us afterwards, saying that we played. He said, "Great playing the Wait with Bemis last night," or something like that. So yeah, that was great playing with Al Murray. Really nice guy. Number 17, the second stage at Guildfest. So that was the other Guildfest mention that I knew I was going to say. So Guildfest is this big festival in Guildford, and there's a not particularly brilliant, really commercial sort of teenage band over here called Jedward. These two twins, these Irish twins that do these pop songs, and we played just before Jedward on the same stage. So it's the only time we've ever played on the second stage of Guildfest. So Guildfest is such a big festival that it's a big deal if you play the second stage. We were so excited to play it. Massive stage. It was really nice to wander around the stage while I'm playing. You know, it's a really big stage. And Jedward was playing after us, and it was just so funny because they were on after us. We had all these Jedward fans. You could tell they were Jedward fans right at the front of the stage. And we got there because we often end our sets with Wells of London by Warren Zevon, and we got them singing that, which was hilarious. So that was great. So Jedward, just before Jedward, look them up. They are quite something. Number 18, the first bandstand gig. So, as I said before, loads of times we live in a beach city, you know, and there's a seafront, and on the seafront there's a bandstand where you have these gigs that happen every summer. And the first time we did a bandstand gig, it was a full band, and there was like, because it was good weather, there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, probably thousands of people, I don't know, but the whole that area was just teeming with people, all out with their families. It was just such a fantastic thing. My seafront, and just did a lovely thing. It was just a great gig. Loved it. So that was really cool. The first ever bandstand one I did. Number 19, the first time we played that Bearded Theory Festival. So we played that this year as well. That was in 2009. And that was like a culmination of us building up the reputation of the band over those few years. And we got the band because someone recommended us on a forum that was all about the Levelers. So I was told that I was like, Gareth, I don't know if you know, but they're talking about you on a Levelers forum. I was like, what? So yeah. Phone up the organisers and see if they picked up on it. So I phoned up the organisers and they went, oh, great. We were hoping you'd phone up, and then they booked us. It was great. So that was playing on the main stage of Bearded Theory as well. So to give you a sense of how big that festival is, the headliners this year were the Pixies and Skunk Nancy and Garbage. So 3 really big names. And Skunk Nancy, by the way, were amazing this year. But I can't remember who the headliners were in 2009, to be fair. But yeah, that was great doing that. Number 20, playing a gig in Gunwharf again, and a random man, that's right, I remember this, and a random man just walks up to the mic and starts singing with us. We were doing Simon & Garfunkel's song, The Boxer, you know, la la la, la 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 la, that one. And then we were playing it, and then this old man who was walking past just decides to, because we had our bass player that sometimes sang with us, we had a mic that wasn't being used, so he wasn't singing in that. And he just came up on stage, started singing with us. It was really funny. We were like, what? So we let him do it, and then once he'd sang for a bit, he walked off. So he didn't necessarily disrupt us, but it was just a really random moment. I'll never forget. I thought it was hilarious. Constance is here. Hi, Constance. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I'm talking about memories of playing live. I explained at the video why I was doing that, but probably at the end I can also repeat why it's a bit of a crossroads. Well, it is a bit. I haven't actually said why it's a bit of a crossroads at the minute, so I'll talk about that at the end. But this is all about gig memories. That you had a close encounter with Jedward and kept your sanity shows a certain strength of character. Well, I tell you what, one of the interesting things, because their audience is all teenagers and they all get excited. They you could see these hysterical teenagers like excited to be anywhere near them, and it was really interesting to see backstage. They were miserable as sin, and then their manager said, "Come on, let's turn it on. We're going to speak to the fans." And they immediately put on this mask, and so you probably would have gathered, but it is absolutely an act. You know, they are not particularly happy people. So I thought that was interesting to see. Right, number 21, playing at the Brook. Was my favourite venue to play. It's in Southampton. I love the Brook. We've done it 3 times, but I love going there to watch people as well. I've seen loads of people there. So who have I seen? I saw Roy Harper there, Richie Havens, the Melican Hang. I'll talk about loads in this. We supported them there. We supported another soul band called Rufus Stone as well. We supported them there. Who else have I seen at the Brook? I saw Cloud Busting, which is a fantastic Kate Bush tribute act. If you ever get a chance to see Cloud Busting, you should see them. Who else did I see? I saw loads of people at the Brook. But anyway, it was really good playing there, and I just love that venue. It's so cool. There's one of those venues you can be anywhere, you can get a good view, you know. And that was a very special playing there. 22, our drummer Daryl stepping out of his drum area, walking up to my mic, and saying to the crowd, "I'd like to say, I'm wearing no underpants." If you're watching this, Daryl, you have given us some unexpected moments. That was definitely one of them. He just decided to walk away from his drum area, walk up to my mic. This was at one of the bandstand ones we did. So this is like a very big audience down the seafront, and he said, "I'd just like to say I'm wearing no underpants." The drummers. Number 23, getting up on stage with the Melican Hang. So this is, I don't know how well you know sort of punky folky bands, but they've got a massive following. They've been going they used to be on the same circuit as the Pogues. You might know the Pogues. They started with them in the 80s, but they became friends. But getting up with them on the first time, well, not actually the first time, but this was the first big one we did with them for their in the Bournemouth fire station. And yeah, that's right. I went on stage with them and sang with them, and the last song of that gig. So that was really cool. So that's happened a couple of times, because I think the next one I'm going to mention, I'm pretty sure I went up on stage with them at the end then as well. Supporting the number 24, supporting the Melican Hang at the 100 Club in Oxford Street. The 100 Club is a legendary venue that has got a huge reputation for having loads of punk bands in the 70s and 80s play there, and it's just a really big deal, the 100 Club. So it was very, very special playing there. And you go down these steps, and there's all these posters about who's played there, and it's got this great atmosphere, and that was great playing there. So that was a great night. My number 25, doing the gig with that night at the it's a separate one. Number 25 is doing the gig with Swill, who's one of the singers of the Melican Hang, as a duo at Fernham Hall in Fareham. So Fareham's not that far away. It's about a half-hour drive. And he just phoned up and said, "Would you like to share the gig with me? Because I've had some stuff happen, and I'd rather do it with someone. I was going to do it totally solo, but if you're up for doing it." I said, yeah. So I did a gig with Swill, who's one of the singers. He kind of, when I was a teenager, he was one of my favourite singers as well. So it's really nice that we've become friends in that sense. Number 26, the crowd finishing off. Oh, this was great. The crowd finishing off 4 Seasons in One Day as an a cappella chorus, like filling the room when we did a Crowded House tribute night. So my friend Steph used to run these tribute nights at this venue down the road, and she did quite a lot of them. She probably did about 12 of them, and we played in about half a dozen of them. We did the REM one, the Neil Young one, Bob Dylan, Crowded House, stuff like that. I can't remember the others, but they were great nights. And for the Crowded House one, we were doing Weather With You in our set anyway, but we couldn't do it because one of the bands kind of voted to do that first. So we didn't do Weather With You, even though we did it in every gig. But we did a song by Split Enz, I Got You, which was what Crowded House were before they were Crowded House. They kind of slightly different lineup, but Split Enz was like the first time Neil Finn was doing stuff anyway. So we did one of those, and we did what was the other one we did? We did we did another song, and we did Four Seasons in One Day. Four Seasons in One Day is a beautiful song. I absolutely love doing it. It's a really nice song. I might bring it back into the set actually, but it's a really nice song. But what was just so fantastic, I'll never forget it. It was amazing. It was this full venue. So for that particular venue, it was about 120 people in front of us, and they're all singing along to every song because they're all Crowded House fans. And this, if you know Four Seasons in One Day, it's a beautiful song. And we were getting to the end, and we hadn't decided to do this. We hadn't planned to do this, but both of us decided, let's just let it ring. And we started the last chorus, and the whole place sang the chorus without us. And it was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was just a great moment. We were just like proper goosebumps. And we were looking at each other going, wow, that was amazing. So that was really cool. Number 27, the David Bowie tribute night. So the year that David Bowie died, the big venue here, the Wedding Rooms, they organised this fantastic tribute night gig. They had a house band that were some of the best instrumental musicians in the city playing every song, and they'd invited different singers to do different songs. So you got like a house band doing all of it, and then you got people coming on to do their songs. And I did 2 songs. I did Modern Love and Hello Space Boy, which is one of the loudest David Bowie songs. And I was so pleased I could do it. I was like, can I do this one? And they were like, yeah. And I absolutely loved it. The whole night was amazing. But I've put the footage of me doing Hello Space Boy on this channel. I think really early on this channel, going back to the year he died, it's on there. I'm pretty sure it's this channel. I don't think I put it on the Bemis one because it was just me. So yeah, that was a great moment. I absolutely loved it. The whole night was fantastic, and you can probably imagine that they finished with Heroes, and everyone came on. Everyone that was involved in the night, all the singers, all came on, and we sang Heroes together. It was just fantastic. Constance says magical. Yeah, that moment, that Crowded House moment, was truly magical, and it's just something you don't forget. Really, really brilliant. So yeah, the David Bowie tribute was a great night. Number 28, the first time we played the second stage of Wickham Festival. Yeah, I love the second stage at Wickham Festival. I don't know if I'll ever get to play the main stage of Wickham Festival, but it's a lovely festival. It's very rootsy, but it's if you're into that stuff, it's the best one really in this area anyway, in the south, for that kind of thing. It's a really good festival, and getting the second stage, the second stage is massive. It's not quite as big as the main stage, but it could be a main stage at another festival. Do you know what I mean? A smaller festival could easily have that as their main stage. It's a massive stage. So we've done that stage a few times now, but the first time I did it, I couldn't believe it. I was so pleased to get it, So that was great. Number 29, the first time of many playing at the Half Moon in Putney. Yeah, we did a run of going to these Monday night showcase nights at the Half Moon in Putney. It was quite expensive to do it because we had to get a train to London every time and a train back, and we were doing it to try and make some kind of presence in London. And we knew the Half Moon in Putney had this great reputation. It was the first ever place that Kate Bush played at back in the 70s, and it's got this real prestige to it. So it was very special playing at the Half Moon in Putney, and we did it several times. We didn't just do that night as well, because we were asked to do support slots a couple of times as well for singer-songwriters that were playing there. So that was really cool. So we played there a few times. That was great. Number 30, when a gathering of people in front of us. Right, I'll just state that, like I said earlier, we finished a lot of our sets with Wells of London by Warren Zevon, and we did this festival. It was Bearded Theory. I'm pretty sure it was Bearded Theory. No, it wasn't. It was Watch It Festival in Somerset. A fantastic festival. Sadly, it's not going anymore. The organisers just felt like they couldn't do it anymore. Such a good festival, though. Definitely one of my favourites. And anyway, we were playing our normal set, and there was a bunch of people in front of us that were regular Bemis followers. And they knew, they just had an inkling we were going to finish with werewolves. And as we started it, I look up and there's like 20 odd people with werewolves masks in front of me. And it was just hilarious. It was great. And the guy that had organised it, he was grinning like mad. He thought it was hilarious. So that was great. So, yeah, the werewolf masks in that gig. 31. First time playing with Richie at the Werewolf Folk Club. Oh, okay. So this is going back a bit. So it's clearly not in order. So Richie was the guy that I formed the band with in 2006. But we did do our first gig together in 1993. So I would have been, how old would I have been? 22. I was 22. And you know, we've been, you know, musical soulmates ever since. So that was great playing for the first time in '93 at this at the Railway Folk Club, which is the folk club that used to be there at the main, well, not the main train station, the Fratton station, which is the train station by me. There's technically There's 5 train stations in Portsmouth. That's weird, isn't it? But the one that's very popular that's near me is the Fratton station. Yeah. 32. The first time we played the Wedge Drums as a duo, as part of, there was this thing called the Real Sounds Acoustic Showcase, and there was this guy that ran it, Alistair, lovely guy. We've done quite a lot of things with him over the years, but the first time he booked us for his night he used to run on a Sunday night, it was very special because it was the first time we played at the Wedge Drums, which is this big venue, so that was a big deal. 33 are Bemis and Friends nights. And there's a specific one I'm going to talk about. So we used to do these Bemis and Friends nights, and we would run it, and we'd invite different people to play, and there'd be some kind of collaboration thing through the night as well. That was usually what we tried to do, and they were great. And on this particular one, David Rovix was one of our special guests. So he's an American political songwriter. He's an amazing songwriter. And I just got in touch with him and said, would you like to be a guest? When you come over here next, would you like to be a guest on our shows? And he said, I'll do it, but I need to be paid because I'm coming over from America. So I can do it as part of my tour, but I need to get paid. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. So we took the money we would have got ourselves from it and gave it to him. And what's funny is that he disappeared to get food, but he also didn't know Portsmouth at all. I think he got a bit lost. He also got his timing wrong for the slot. So there was this panic setting in where he was supposed to be playing and he hadn't come back. And then we just sort of did a bit of our set, and then he arrived, and then we went off and he did his set, and then we carried on. So we were supposed to be headlining, but we didn't quite do that because he kind of came out in the middle. So that was quite funny. You can always fix a problem. 34, the first wedding gig we did, where we had a huge congregation dancing in a massive hall, and all the sound was coming from our humble PA that we had that wasn't particularly good PA. And it was this, I'll never forget, it was this huge hall. You can imagine, like, there was hundreds of guests there, and it was our first wedding. We've done a number of weddings since then. I quite like wedding gigs. I think they're great. And but normally now I'll do a wedding gig as a full band with drums and all that. This was just as a duo, and we were really nervous because we had to fill up the kind of sonic space of this massive hall just with the two of us. But we got everyone dancing, and it went well, so that was all right. Number 35. Supporting the Beautiful South. So the Beautiful South, I don't know if you guys know that band, but they've had loads of hits over here. Paul Heaton is the main songwriter. He comes from the House Martins. So I don't know if you know them, House Martins. But it was definitely an honour supporting the Beautiful South. That was great. And our first ever drummer, Gav Jones, came and he returned to drum with us. And he was amazing. And he didn't rehearse with us, but it felt like it looked and sounded like he'd rehearsed with us loads. And it was just a brilliant night. So that was really good. But I will say, there's a drummers. when I sent him, the only way I could contact him was on Twitter, and I sent him a private message on Twitter explaining that we needed a drummer. Would you like to come back for this gig? It's a gig in Gosport supporting the beautiful South. Would you be interested? Gave him the date, and his reply was, "In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king." That was his reply. Clearly, I sent a message back saying, "Is that a yes? Is that a yes?" And it was, obviously. So number 36, the hottest gig we've ever done. Oh my God, this was such a hot gig. The festival we did this year was pretty hot, but we were in a marquee. This was in the middle of a field, doing a gig for like a corporate staff outing kind of thing for Specsavers, and we were in this field. We set up our own PA to do it. We did this 2-hour gig, and it was so hot. It was bakingly hot. We were drenched in sweat. It was so hot. It was, oh my God, it was knackering. And I've written here, almost dying from the heat when we played for 2 hours. That was back in 2010. It was 3 of us at the time. So it was me and Richie, and Jeff at the time was our bass player. And it was so hot. But we had a bit of fun with it because Specsavers they're obviously a company that supply glasses. We made a Specsavers medley. So we did. So amongst all the other songs we did, we learnt this medley, which was I Can See Clearly Now, Eye the Tiger, Brown Eyed Girl, and Behind Blue Eyes. So those, we put them all in a medley. So we enjoyed that. That was a moment of laughter in the middle of this. Oh my God, this gig is so hot, and we were just basically trying to survive it. But yeah, very memorable. Number 37, the end of the launch gig for our second album, Dreams for Sale, and we had the end of it. We had this. I came up with this idea of just bringing loads of percussion and stuff onto the stage to finish off the gig. It was so cool. So at the time, our main drummer was Dell, who joined us on Tuesday, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Dell was our main drummer at the time anyway, so he was on full kit drums. There was another guy that's become a good friend called Adam Knight. He was playing cajon, which is like a box drum, for one of the support bands. He joined us on cajon, and then we had another guy called Brandon who was playing a djembe drum, and we had all this percussion was happening, so really full on. And we did People Live On, and then we kept it going. Or it might be the other way around. And then we started doing Freedom, which we did a lot, which is Richie Haven's song from Woodstock, Freedom. And it was just such a great moment, all this sort of jamming with this. We had a 9-piece band, basically, with the 6 of us, which were the main band, and these 3 extra people. And it was just so cool. It was really, really good. I loved that bit. And we were kind of riffing off all these different rhythms and stuff. It was great. So that was in the launch gig for our second album. So that was back in 2010, I think. Number 38, guest appearing. Oh, this is great. So talking about Adam Knight again, the guy that was playing Cajon. So fast forward to about 2 years ago, I think it was. We made a guest appearance at a gig that Adam Knight was doing because he wanted to cover one of my songs, the Jigsaw song, and he asked if we would go on and do the harmonies that are in the song. So we made this special appearance on this one song in someone else's set because I'd written the song and me and Richie had done the harmonies for it. So that was really special. So it was nice being called on stage as the songwriter, you know. So that was great. 39, doing a duo set with Louis, my son, at Winterfest in 2022 at the Start Inn. Great venue in Guildford, fantastic sound from the sound man. Yeah, it was a very, very memorable gig. There are bits of it on my channel, I think, and on the Bemis channel. So I think the one I put on here was Falling Slowly, and that was from that set, from the show Once. But we just had a great time, and I love playing gigs with my son, and it was just a really nice the sound that was coming off the stage. The sound man had this lovely sound coming from our guitars, and the lovely reverb we put on the vocals. It was really nice. So and a great audience. So yeah, really good gig. Number 40, got 10 left. Number 40, One Spring Afternoon, 2024. It's a fantastic stage. It's a great sound. Really, really cool gig. This has been if you go onto the Bemis YouTube channel, the thing that immediately starts is World of Difference from this gig. And behind us on this massive screen was the letters Bemis, which is great. I love that. So it's nice playing with the name of the band towering above you. I don't get to do that very often, so that was really cool. I just realised there's one thing I could have mentioned. I don't think I'm going to mention it, but if I don't, I'll mention it as well. If I don't mention it as one of the 50, something I just thought of. Another great memory. 41, April 2024 trio set. This was really cool. So, in the band, we are really passionate about our vocal harmonies, and like that's the one consistent thing through the band is the harmonies. Whoever's in the band, because we had lineup changes, whoever's ever in the band, I try and maintain the vocal harmony thing, and we did quite enjoy doing these trio things. It was just me, Richie, and Ian, the three main vocalists, just doing our gigs on our own without the bass and drums. So we enjoyed doing that as well. We had this 2-hour set where we did that, and we learned over half a dozen songs specifically for that gig. It was a really great gig. It was one of the best acoustic gigs I've ever done. That was really nice, and some of that is on the Bemis page as well. Number 42, supporting the Milligan Hang again after a big gap at the Red Rooms in May 2024. It was a sold-out crowd, and then hanging out with them backstage again was really good. Kind of reconnecting for me with them was really good. And we've done loads of gigs with them over the years. 2 of them were on our second album as guests. And I've mentioned some of the other random gigs we've done with them. So yeah, that was really cool. I don't know if I'm going to mention. Do I mention the other thing we did? No. So I mentioned earlier us supporting me playing with Swill. We supported and ended up playing with the other singer Kush in a gig down here as well, which was quite an adventure. He's definitely a one-off. So that was quite funny. Number 43, June 2024, our own show. Oh, yeah. So we had our own show at the big venue down here in 2024. It was a really good gig. But what was really special as well for that one was my son's rock band, Henry, was the main support. So I was just really proud that his band were getting showcased as well. He's got an amazing band. He's a brilliant songwriter. So that was really cool. So that was special because it was his band. 44, the Kashmir Key Art Centre on the Isle of Wight. The first time we did this, so we did it again this year, but in 2025 we did it for the first time. And I'm going to mention this guy again. He's going to be mentioned a couple of times now coming up. Del, who was our first proper full-time drummer, and we were best friends at college when we were 16, 17, 18. He was my best mate. So really, really old friend. I was talking to him earlier about when and how he might be able to do drums with us again. He designed the covers for the albums I made, the sort of self-made albums I did in college. He also designed the front cover of my first book, 10 Tales of Transformation. That's designed by Del. So yeah, this guy is a really, really close friend. And he played drums with us again after a massive 14-year gap. And that was because he was running the thing, because he lives on the Isle of Wight now. He was running the event, and he said he wanted us to play. And he said, we said we've got Nathan drumming with us, and he said, "Can I join you for one song?" And it was like, "Yeah, definitely." So that was great. And then this year, we didn't actually have a drummer that could do it, and he did the whole set, which was great. So really, really special. And then bouncing off that, my number 45 is doing a full 2-hour set with Dale drumming with us. And we also had Dylan, who used to play bass with us, returning for us as well. And it was such a funny combination of people that have been in the band for a long time, or people who are really important members of the band, but we didn't rehearse as a band as that particular lineup at all. So we didn't know what was going to happen, and it was a brilliant gig. It was one of the best pub gigs I've ever done by a mile. It was so good. We had a really good time. The audience were loving it. It was a packed house. They were loving it. So that was really good. There's a couple of other memories I've got of some pub stuff that I might remember to say in a minute. Number 46, Sweet Home Fest. So this is a private festival that some friends of ours run in the summer. And they got this massive garden, and they put up a big marquee at the back of the garden, and they get loads of people playing through Saturday and Sunday. They book about 20 acts to play, and we've done it many times. They're good friends of ours. And in last year, in 2025, it was a real powerful, poignant moment when I was singing People Live On, which quite often is, you get these situations with People Live On because it's about, people have used it in funerals because it can be about grief. It's not really necessarily about grief by itself, in itself. It is about death, but it's not. It's about doing something in your life, and that's what makes you live on. Because I'm an atheist. I don't believe in the afterlife, so it's not about the afterlife. People Live On is about you doing things that make a difference. That's how you live on, and how your family remembers you, or your friends remember you, and all that sort of stuff. That's what the message of the song is. And some people, it kind of really resonates with them, and they love the song. And it's one of my popular ones. It's one of the ones that means a lot to me. But on this occasion, I was singing People Live On. We were singing People Live On, and our friend John, who had followed the band for many years, his wife had followed the band for many years. His wife had sadly passed away literally like a month before. He was still grieving it. That whole situation was horrible. And I looked over to sort of further back. I could see that he had his head raised really high, singing along, clearly thinking about his wife. It was really hard to sing it. I had to turn around and try and compose myself while we were doing it. It was a real poignant moment, and I really felt for John, our friend, and it just, he came up to us afterwards and said, what a big moment that was for him as well. And I've had that a few times when people have said, "Oh, you wouldn't know this, but you did that tonight," and I've been trying to process this thing that had happened for them, and that song really does mean something for some of the people. Sometimes when you hit it at the right time, or it happens at a particular time for someone. So yeah, that was a crazy moment. 47, Bearded Theory 2024. So 2 years ago, playing Little Monsters for the first time. So Little Monsters is one of our new songs. It's on the new album, but I don't know how many times we'll play it because I want a certain thing out of it, a certain kind of sound in it. And Louis needs to be there because he's the only one in the band that plays like I want it to sound in the song. And he doesn't always do the gig. So it was great having him there. And it was a really good, I was really pleased with how it sounded on that day. It's really nice to do it. And it was just a memorable thing because it was a song that I was nervous about whether we'd put it off, and how I knew we weren't going to do it that often. So it's really cool. 48, the Wedge Room 2025, starting the gig with an a cappella 3-part vocal political song about some of the sort of nationalist stuff that's happening, written by Ian. And it was really nice because I've always wanted to start a gig with a 3-part a cappella thing. David Crosby's got a great song. I think it's called "What Are Their Names?" I think it's called. And he did that in the last band he was in, the last band he led. And I love that idea. And we did it ourselves last year. We've done it a couple of times since then. It's just great. I love it. Absolutely love doing that. So that was really cool. And then number 49. Oh yeah. Last year we were asked to play a set as part of a wake for a friend of ours that had died, and the friends that asked us were also friends of the band, and we were very honoured to do it. We knew it was a very special night, and you know, when you're doing something like that, you're aware of the gravity of what you're doing, and people just wanted to have fun, and we did lots of fun songs, and we were mess around a lot and all that. We were, you know, it was an upbeat gig, but the reason for doing it was very poignant, and we were very honoured to do that. So that's really cool. So before we get to number 50, just a couple of things that I've remembered while I was doing this. Sometimes I'm quite frivolous / very silly on stage, and and one time I remember I noticed I had some spoons in my pocket. I don't remember why I had spoons in my pocket, so I will stress that I had 2 spoons, and I don't know why I had spoons in my pocket. But we were doing like an encore of Weather With You, Crowded House, in this pub gig, and then the rest of the band were like going, what? Because I got these spoons out and started playing the spoons as part of the track, and then like effectively did a spoon solo, and it was really funny. So I just remembered that one. So that's a little 51. And there was another one I was thinking of. What was it? Oh yeah. So one of the times, so one of the times we played with the Men That Couldn't Hang, Kush was the more wild kind of person in the band. He was much more. He had a wild lifestyle. He was definitely more frivolous, if you like, and they do this thing in their sets where each individual singer-songwriter would do like a song on their own around like in the middle of the gig, while the beginning and the end of the gig is the full band going really loud and punky, right? So he was going to do Hallelujah, and in the break he said to me and Richie, "Do you want to come up and join me?" And we were like, "Hey, what? In what? In what are you talking about?" And then they come up and join me in Hallelujah. This was like 2 minutes before we was going to do it. And Bobby Valentino was a great fiddle player. He was going to play fiddle on it. And we were like, and then I kind of persuaded Richie to do it. I was like, let's do it. And it'll be a laugh. Let's do it. And it was just because he'd also taken a lot of cocaine before he went on stage as well. He was completely off his face. And there was people at the front of the stage, the audience, that were laughing because they knew that there was that going on with Kush, the singer. And I was trying to sing a harmony, and he was changing everything he was singing all the time. He was also deciding randomly when to change chords, and Richie was trying to play guitar with him. It was so funny, and it was so bizarre. And it was one of those things that he got away with it because the audience loved him, and they knew that he was clearly off his face. And we were just struggling to try and do this thing and join him on this in this massive venue, this big audience, and we were like, what? But it was really funny, and that's the only time I've been offered cocaine as well, and I didn't take it. But yeah, that was mad and really funny. He also, just while we're there, before I get to number 50, he also did this gig that I did mention earlier where he played in Portsmouth, but the build up to the gig was just bizarre. So he was doing this side project where he had this solo band. So he was obviously famous for being in the Men That Couldn't Hang, but he started a solo project. He'd done a solo album with a band. So it wasn't solo, it was like a solo band project. And he'd booked out this local venue of ours to do this show. And the guy who's running it said, "Gareth, can you guys support? Because I know you'll get some people in. And I don't know how well his side project is known. So if you guys support Kush on this. It'd be good. And we were like, oh, yeah, of course, we'll support. It'd be great. It'd be great to see him again, and we'll definitely support. And the build up to the gig was the most bizarre thing. So remember, this was a full band gig that he was supposed to be doing, and he phoned me up randomly a few months before and said, hi Gareth, can we use your drum kit? And you don't normally ask a support band to use your drum kit. And I said, well, we weren't going to have a drummer actually that night, but I can get a drum kit if you want. And he said, yeah, that's great. Yeah, get a drum kit. And we're like, okay. And then fast forward a couple of weeks later, he phones me up again. He phones me up again and says, can we use your bass player? So he's not asking now to use our bass. He's asking to use our bass player. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, our bass player can't make it. Oh, okay. And then at the same time, he said, oh, well, our drummer's not coming anyway, so you don't have to worry about the drum kit now. But our bass player can't make it. Can we use your bass player? Like, well, I'll ask him. I don't know what he'll say, but I'll ask him. And he's like, yeah, great, fantastic, awesome, do that. I was like, okay. So I asked our bass player. Our bass player's like, what? I don't know his stuff. That's just weird, isn't it? I was like, I don't know. Do you want to? I mean, should we just see what happens? And then so the night of the gig happens. He turns up on his own without his band, and he royally pisses off the owner who hired him, because he's like, what's going on? And Chris says to me, right, lads, my band aren't coming, so you guys okay to be my band? I'm like, what? Yeah. Let's go backstage to the green room and let's just write a set out, figure out what we're going to do. So we were supporting, and we were his band, and it was just so weird because I knew the stuff from the Meneganang. The rest of the band didn't know their stuff, and he was just coming up with just really weird covers, and it was just, we had this conversation where there was just this kind of, it led to this moment, this crescendo of this conversation where we went, and then we'll end with Born to Be, no, yeah, Born, then we'll end with Born to Be Wild, right? And you said that like that. We were like, what? Okay. And it's just really weird headline set in this guy that was really famous for being in this other band. It was just odd. So that was really memorable. I'll get to the comments section. I'll give you my number 50. So Kat's arrived. Hi, Kat. Thanks for coming in. And Constance went, Kat! My cat was here a minute ago, but she disappeared again. Kat says, hi, Constance. I love these stories. Thanks, Chris. Well, that's what I was hoping, because it sounds like I'm just going, oh, and then I did this. But I think they're funny stories, or interesting stories, some of them. So thanks. Appreciate that, Chris. Of course, I come into spoons and Coke. Yeah, nobody plays with spoons over here. That's why it was so funny. And the audience were absolutely killing themselves laughing. And I just happened a few times. Oh, that's the other story I was going to tell. I've got to tell you about the dog. It might not translate as well without the context, but I'm going to tell you about the dog as well. If I don't do that, put it in the comments. What about the dog? But yeah, Coke and spoons. Coke just made everyone get fixed up, but it wore off halfway through the process. Yeah, I've never really had the pleasure. Did it get rid of your headache? Where did Moon Rock? Yeah. She was down here doing a little scratchy thing over there. She stopped bopping Ralph now because she's literally spent ages trying to, like yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, earlier today. Earlier today, she spent a good half an hour trying to whack him. And I videoed a bit of it and sent it to my friends. But yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, must know about the doggy. Awesome stories. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I think they're funny stories. So yeah, before I get to number 50, because it would be great to talk about Tuesday. One of my favorite times when I was like, just to give you the sense of why I like it. I found it hard to sing the rest of the song without laughing when this was happening, and the whole band were laughing, the audience were laughing. It was so brilliant. It was this wonderful moment. I'm quite I say a lot of nonsense in the gig. If you ever saw me, if you saw a proper gig, because usually with the when the songs I put up online, I've edited out the stuff I say in between, but I do talk a lot at the gigs, and I say like random stuff. You know, for example, I've said many times that Joni Mitchell, when we're covering Woodstock, I'll say that she's a friend of the band and she pops around occasionally to give us some apple crumble. And I say she's terrible at making apple crumble, but we eat it anyway because it's, you know, she's Joni Mitchell. You know, I'll say stuff like that. Or I'll say Tracy Chapman is my niece or something, you know. Just random stuff I'll say. And I remember when we did Horse with No Name a lot. We used to do Horse with No Name in some of the pub gigs, and I used to just really enjoy deliberately doing a stupidly long introduction where I went on about how I used to work on a farm, and in the farm we had loads of sheep and we had loads of pigs, and I just go on and on about these different animals. Yeah, one horse, and then we never named him. Anyway, this is in it. It wasn't a name, and then we started, and it was such a ridiculous introduction because if you'd seen us before, and then I started going on about the farm, you'd know, oh, okay, he's doing that stupid introduction. Right? And when we do Wales London, I always talk about the fact that we do it in tribute to our cursed family, and the fact that we were always in cages at the full moon, you know, and all that. So I do say a lot of crap, but I like to. If something happens, I'll riff off whatever happens in the gig. And this night, we had this dog that kept barking. So it was a pub. It was a dog friendly pub, and a pub that we played at a lot. It's one of the pubs we probably played at the most. It's a great place that we love down in Southsea, and it was a huge audience, and the place was packed, and this dog kept barking, and I would have said something about Wales of London. I have often paid tribute to the dogs that have been in the room as we do that song, if that was a thing. But with this one, I've got this song. Bemis have got this song called DNA. And if you know it, thank you for listening. If you don't know DNA, it is probably my most popular song. And the students that I teach absolutely love it. They go on about it all the time, which is great. But yeah, this song DNA has got a repeated audience participation thing where they go whoa, and then I'll go da 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 da, and they go whoa, da 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 da, whoa. So this is repeated whoa, right? But this time, the dog was barking, and I said, right, this time we're a very inclusive band, and we want to include the people here and make sure that everyone in the room feels that they're included. So with this one, instead of going whoa, we're gonna go rope, 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 like that. And then we're going to bark. And people started laughing. And I asked them to repeat what I was doing. So like, come on, everyone, we've got to go rope, 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 rope. And then everyone's going rope, 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 and barking. And then literally every single time in that song that we're supposed to go, whoa, we went rope, 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 like that. And there's a whole, like, I don't know how many people, 100 or so people going, rope, rope, rope for that part of that song. It was so funny. And what was great is our drummer at the time, Kaylee, she left at Christmas, but she was the drummer at the time. And she always started the song by going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But on this time she went rope, 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 rope. It was so funny. So yeah, that was great. So I hadn't put that in the 50 because I'd forgotten it, but that was a great moment. And those are kind of some of the. What's really good about a pub gig is because it's 2 hours, you can have a lot of fun with it, and you can do things like that, you know, or I can just, you know, have them giggling with the stupid stuff I say in between the songs. If it's a festival or it's a support slot or something like you've got like half an hour or 40 minutes, or you're like part of a showcase in a venue and you got, you know, you can't really spend ages messing around. So I might say something really quick that's stupid, or might respond to someone like, I remember sometimes it's a repeated thing that sometimes has gone wrong where someone shouts something. I say, thanks, mum. And then I remember I did that once, and this woman was well offended because I was suggesting that she was older than she was. My going, thanks, mum. But you know, yeah. So it's nice. It's nice when the gigs are longer to be able to have a good laugh with it, you know. And sometimes, what was it? And sometimes like someone else in the band would do random stuff. Like I know last time when we did that gig with Dylan on bass, he doesn't sing at all. He doesn't write songs. He's an incredible bass player, but he doesn't really do anything like that. And he just randomly went up to the mic and said, "Gareth, can I sing a song I've just written today?" I was like, "Yeah, all right." And I knew it was going to be silly. And he started doing this thing with just him and the bass singing about kebabs, and it was really funny. But you could tell also he was making it up as he was going, just being silly. And it was so funny. We were all laughing. The audience were laughing. It was great. You can do that in a pub gig, you know, because you're just messing around, you know. And there was a song that we did on Tuesday, which I'll get to in a second, the gig. And I said about this song was an old one that had been fermented or something. And then Richie next to me went to the mic and said, "Yeah, this was ferment for you." And it was just like, it was some sort of wordplay about the word fermented. It was great. And we were all laughing. It was brilliant. But that was a venue gig. So it's not always just the pub gigs that you can mess around with. Cherry Moon needs a playmate. Ralph is the unwitting toy. Absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely not up for it. Love that you play up nonsense about the songs. Yeah. Absolutely. Did the dog bark along his turn? No, he didn't get it. He didn't get the memo. He was just he did bark through the song, but not really on cue. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen the footage that I have put up here. I think it might have been the first time I put up footage of me and Louis playing. But Ralph and his brother Chico, when he was around, they used to bark when we used to play Wales of London. So we did these COVID gigs, me and Louis. We'd play in the front room and put it out on Facebook. I've sadly lost most of them because I lost my account. I was hacked on Facebook. I lost my account, lost all that footage, which is awful because it was so good. We did loads and loads and loads and loads of them. We did it every other week during COVID. So you can imagine that's quite a lot of, all during the lockdowns. We did these kind of hour and a half sets through Facebook. And we had loads of people watching. We got loads of money out of it because we did a PayPal thing behind us. We put a sign up with the PayPal account. And I said to them, all the money's going to go to his uni fund. And they put money in and he got loads of money for his first year at uni. Yeah, we got about £1,000 over the summer for it, which was great. But yeah, I lost all that footage. It was terrible. The ones that are still on the Bemis page, because when I did it with other members of Bemis, I put it on the Bemis page. Those still exist. But yeah, that was a real shame that we lost them. But I think I have footage of the first time this happened. It was so funny. We were doing Wales of London in the front room. And then because we were howling, we go, "Ow, Wales of London, ow." Like that. Ralph and Chico just started howling when we were doing it. And it was unbelievable. It was so funny. We didn't expect it. And it became a thing that the audience started going, "Are you going to do werewolves? Are the dogs going to join in?" and it was like, and Chico wasn't quite as good at howling. He just used to bark doing that, and then he'd get really worked up and he'd be barking for the entire song. Once we started howling in the chorus, it was quite funny. Yeah, so that was great, and that was obviously like indoor gigging, but that was one thing that was really funny about Ralph and Chico. That I've got to find the footage again because yeah, it was so funny. So yeah, dogs barking in songs, great. Elaine says hi, Elaine. Cherry Moon and Ralph, hilarious. Yeah. The video I sent you. Yeah. Heartbreaking that you lost those memories. Oh, it really is. I couldn't believe it when it first happened. I spent ages trying to get it back. Facebook's customer service is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So that was really frustrating. Couldn't get it back. I tried my hardest, couldn't get it back. So I've lost it. Started a new account. I'm still on Facebook, but that was like 20 years worth of photos as well, and all those. Some of those photos I've got in other ways, but there's a few things I've not been able to find ever since. And those videos of those COVID gigs that we did, just absolutely precious, because me and my boy, it's me and my son playing together. So the fact that they were preserved, if you like, on Facebook for that time. It'd be nice if the hacker said, look, I'm going to hack you. Do you want to download some of your videos before I do it? Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, all right, I'll do that. So people say, hi, hackers and scammers suck. They really do. That's very annoying. As it says, hi. That footage is somewhere. Nothing ever disappears from Facebook. Well, I can't get hold of it. One Z1 was the best. Do you sing any other songs of his? What have I sung? Other songs of Warren Zevon's? I love him to death. We've worked out. Yeah, we did do it once. We did play it all night long. Play it all night long. We did this. This great gig actually, where we were asked by this promoter in Bournemouth to do like a jukebox gig, where we would put up on screen a list of 100 songs. It's a crazy number. 100 songs that we could possibly play, and they picked what they wanted us to play. And so we had quite a lot of prep for it, because we learnt loads of new songs for it. And we learnt sort of Beatles songs and stuff that we thought they might pick that was more jukeboxy. But it was an interesting challenge. We did 2 of them, and one of them we played Play It All Night Long. And we've worked out Lawyers, Guns and Money, but I've never played it live. Wales London is a standard thing that we always do in most of our gigs, especially long ones. It's just a great finisher, But yeah, I love Warren Zevon. We've covered like Tracy Chapman a lot. We covered Bruce Springsteen a lot. We cover in the COVID gigs, we started doing more and more Bruce Cockburn songs. So if you know Bruce Cockburn, Canadian songwriter, one of the greatest songwriters ever, and people kept asking Louis to do, or for us to do, If I Had a Rocket Launcher, so they could watch Louis play the guitar in it, because the guitar part in If I Had a Rocket Launcher is really complicated, but Louis can do it because he's brilliant. He can play Beeswing by Richard Thompson, if you know that. He's so brilliant. Hopefully you might have seen some of that footage on my channel as well of how good Louis is on guitar, but he is just phenomenal. One of the things that I really like that we've done that I've put on my channel is our little version of Time in a Bottle as well. I love that song, and I love how he plays it, and I really enjoyed singing it, and that's on the channel as well. So we're at the point where I'm going to talk about my number 50, all these 50 memories. And it's clearly the most recent one because it's Tuesday night. It's been a full-on week, actually. So I'll give you a rundown of why I'm knackered tonight. So Saturday was the big BookTube meetup, which was great in London. So that was really, really cool, but quite tiring. Sunday, we were all waiting with bated breath about the birth of my grandson. And we were kind of doing things that were connected to that. Plus, there was other things I was doing for work and things like that. But Sunday was quite busy as well. Monday was crazy because I had work in the morning. And then this year, I haven't worked on a Monday afternoon because I was doing an adult ed class in the evening. But I didn't have that. But in the afternoon, the baby was born. So we went to the hospital to see the baby, and then I had to go to London to see the King Crimson gig in London at the Hammersmith Odeon that night. So that was a bit crazy. And then Tuesday night was the Bemis gig. Wednesday night I had to work late at work because there was a creative festival thing going on. So the college was showcasing lots of things that the creative subjects were doing. So I set up a PA and my students played for a bit. So I was late coming back from work on the Wednesday. And on Thursday, last night, my second year students had their final gig. So it was a big, very emotional night. They were all crying and I was crying, and it was a fantastic night, but it's a very emotional night. I hate saying goodbye to my students because, it's a big thing, the 2 years that I have them, and they go through so much, and they make these best friends, and then they've got to say goodbye to them as well. So it's a big deal, that last gig. So that was last night. Tonight it's been a bit more chilled, but I've been knackered, so I haven't really done a lot because I've been so knackered. But I knew I was going to do this. So this was kind of a way of closing the week. But it has been a really full-on week. So Tuesday night is what I'm going to talk about now. But it's a couple of mentions here. So Elaine says the meetup looked like a great time. It was really good. It was lovely. Yeah. I love doing them. We're apparently going to do one in autumn. I'm hoping that they're going to suggest October rather than September, because I might not have any money to spend on books in September, but we'll see. But I definitely want to be involved. And we're talking about Oxford next time, which would be great. I love Oxford. But yeah, they're so good. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the people that we, or all of us, see all the time, like Roy and Gavin and Roz and Jack and Charlotte Coyne and Charlotte and all these different people that we see. It's just so cool. It's brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. And Katie's amazing the way she organises it all. Katie from Brooks and Things. She's the one that sends all the emails going, okay, let's talk about what we're going to do. And when it's in London, she always organises where we're going to go. I don't know if she knows Oxford as well, or if there's going to be someone from Oxford doing it this time, but Katie usually does it, and she's amazing. I am a grandpa, yeah, granddad. Yeah. So the baby was born on Monday. So I won't be sharing pictures because my daughter doesn't want any pictures online, but he's gorgeous. He's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm excited to see what the future brings with him. It's going to be awesome. No money for books. What crazy talk is this? I know. Who knows? But I need to keep doing stuff for the Patreon, because that feeds into the book buying, because that's something that I've got something planned for, which I can't tell you about yet, but something that might happen in August, and I'm going to be using the buy me a coffee money to fund it, which would be really nice because it should produce a really awesome video for the channel, but also be really good part of my book buying, my collection, and my reading for the next little while as well. So it's really exciting, but I can't say what it is yet because it's not happening. I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, I try and use whatever money I can for buying books if I can, but it's difficult. Yeah, it really is very, very lovely. Yeah, it's very cool. And that's, I guess, an advantage from Britain being, or England especially, because I don't think, well, I say that, but Danny came from Scotland. So yeah, Britain in general is relatively small compared to some other countries. So we can meet up like this. I think it's harder for Americans to meet up. But yeah, we can meet up, which is nice, because it's kind of doable to some degree for lots of us. Hello, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. We certainly will do. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's very, very, very special. Thanks, Leslie. Yeah. This is cool. Everyone's saying hello. She's doing well. Yeah. She's it's a big adventure for her, and she's getting lots of advice from her wife. But she's done really well. She really enjoyed being pregnant, which is interesting. But no, she was an absolute I don't know what the word is, but she just did brilliantly. It was great, and she's doing well. Is she wanting her mum yet, or still resting from giving birth? My wife's helping her out with a few bits, so she is seeing her. I've seen the baby a few times, but we because yeah, because Ali's helping her out with the sting, she's seeing the baby a little bit more. But yeah, it's all awesome. It's awesome. Long distance. Yeah, yes, that's true. Same thing. I don't know that many booktubers in Canada. I know Elaine's Canadian, and I know that Richard Rempel is Canadian. But I don't know if I know any others. Do I know any others? Is there other? Who are the other Canadian booktubers? Are there any others? Because I wouldn't want to miss anyone out. But those are the two I think of. When I think of Canadian booktubers, I think of Elaine and Richard. Is that right? Is there any other Canadian booktubers? Who have I missed out? This is just a general chat now, isn't it? This is great. Well, I didn't even get to know. I still got to talk about number 50, haven't I? I've got to remember that. But no one can think of any Canadian booktubers besides Elaine and Richard. That means I haven't forgotten someone, which is good. So, there are a few. There are a few, but not many. Yeah. No biscuits tonight. Well, finally you say that, because I was going to do that. Yeah, I was going to do that. And I basically forgot. It was a bit of a mad rush to get ready for. I didn't want to be late, because I don't want anyone thinking that when me and Dave are late, it's my fault. Yeah. So I've tried to make sure that I was on time. So I was on time, but I didn't have biscuits. My biscuits are in various places. I've got see, I don't like going on about these because it's just so depressing. But I have got some sugar-free biscuits, and they don't taste that nice. I have got these, but I'm not opening them yet. These are desperate when I'm feeling particularly diabetic. But yeah, I have got some biscuits somewhere else. I've got some digestive biscuits I could have used, but I didn't use them today. I feel bad. I feel, what is this? What's going on? This is not Book Songs Over, mate. He hasn't got any biscuits. This is bullshit. I know, but Constance has biscuits. That's brilliant. So Constance, go eat the biscuits now. Tell me about the biscuits you're eating. We're gonna experience the biscuits through Constance. That'd be great. Now you can blame it on Moon or your grandson distracting you. That's right. Yeah, it's their fault. I gave her bits of biscuits yesterday, actually. Anyway. Oh no, not yet. Jolene, Donna Marie, oh, okay. So Jolene, Donna Marie, Jolene is Alberta, Donna, Ontario, 8 hours away. Jolene is Alberta. Is Alberta a place in Canada? I'm guessing it is. And Donna's in Ontario. I know Ontario. Okay, so there's a couple there, so I'll have to look them up. Constance covering for you. I know, great. Thank you, Constance. This is great. Supporting the team. It's the best way to support the team. Eat biscuits. I just had a caramel donut. Couldn't wait. Nice. I had a donut earlier, a fresh cream donut with icing on it as well. So that was very naughty, but it was lovely. It was very cool. Oh, Jess, isn't it? Infinite Texas Jess. She's Canadian. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Caramel donut sounds amazing. I had an apple fritter. Nice. Apple fritter sounds nice too. The province is Alberta. So, hold on then. So, Jolene, Donna Marie, Jolene is Alberta. Isn't Ontario a province as well? No? Don't know. Ontario is a big place, right? Apple fritters are yummy. Yeah. There might be like apple turnovers over here. That might be like that. I'm not sure. And now you're having lemonade. This is lemon squash. So this is not lemonade. So this is like a lemon flavored cordial. I don't know what you call that over your way, but it's not juice, it's not lemon juice, it's lemon squash, cordial. So it's not fizzy, basically. Lemonade's fizzy. This is not fizzy. Ontario's the province. Yeah, that's what I thought. Good. So yeah, I know something about Canada. I'd like to go one day. Thin, crispy chocolate chips with delicious chocolate. Nice. Oh, that's what you got. Thin, crispy chocolate chips. Nice. There you go. So we've got chocolate chip cookies happening from Constance. Chris says, your video about being an emotional reader inspired me to start my own channel. Yes. Oh, that's amazing. That is fantastic. Chris Stout is going to make his own channel. I love that. So, yeah, that was in response to Mariandra, who did a video about, she was kind of bouncing off the Ursula K. Le Guin stuff because she's found it quite, what's the word? She's been really moved in a kind of in an angry way. It's kind of made her angry. Some of the stuff she's read in the Le Guin stuff because of her own experiences. So she did that video because of that, and I thought that was a really interesting thing to talk about. So I thought I would talk about reacting emotionally to reading with other examples, so my own examples of how that's affected me. So I'm glad that Chris enjoyed that one, and I think you made a comment that you were thinking about it. So that's amazing that you're going to make the first video in a few days. What's the video going to be about? You got to tell us what it's going to be about, because this is very exciting, and I will clearly spread the word to death. I'll be sharing it on the community posts, and I'll be mentioning it on videos. This is awesome. What? Elaine lives in London? That's amazing. You live in London, Canada. What is this thing with why are the Canadians Americans taking our place names? What's that about? Kind of like a clumpy donut with apple bits in it. Turnovers are here, like a little hand pie. Clumpy donut with apple bits. We have apple donuts. So I suppose, yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. You've already got people that are looking out for your channel now, Chris. So good. In a few days. So that's exciting. Okay, so let's go on to the last one. So most of my 50 memories have been kind of, I guess, like the emotional effect of having people with me and stuff like that. And some of the supports I did, some of the festivals I played at, and some of the venues I played at, some of that's that, and some of the mad things that happened, the David Bowie tribute, all that. So that's kind of been the thread. The gig on Tuesday was very special because any gig that I've organised myself in a venue that's like a big Bemis night where we're headlining, there's a lot of responsibility on selling tickets, and it's very stressful normally. I deliberately went for the smaller venue rather than the main auditorium because there's less stress, and I knew that it would be around that time that I'd have loads of stress. So I went with the smaller venue, and I also thought I'd showcase a couple of student bands, so they were supporting us as well, which was great. They were really good as well. They were kind of like playing like professional bands, even though they're only like 18. So that was great. But it was going to be kind of a goodbye gig for Kaylee, our drummer. Our drummer's been with us for 10 years. That was going to be her last gig. And Richie announced that he was going to leave the band. And Richie, I formed the band with him. I've been playing gigs with Richie for 33 years, or playing music with him for 33 years. So he really is the closest thing I got to a brother. And when he decided he was going to leave, that really was like a punch in the face. I was gobsmacked. Everyone else in the band were like, what? Where's this coming from? So it was a real shock. And it's going to pause for a second because Margaret's done what I always do, and she's popping in at the end. I'm on number 50, Margaret. So I'm just talking about what happened on Tuesday. But yeah, this is getting towards getting towards 2 hours. But thank you, Margaret, for being here. Please stay. Love having you with us. So yeah, Kaylee had announced that she was leaving the band in December. I asked her to do this gig on Tuesday with us because it was a venue gig, and it was really to raise money for the album that we're bringing out, because we've still got to do some more recording on it, and we've got to pay for the mixing and mastering, and we've got to pay for the cover as well. So, because all of our covers are designed by a cartoonist called Hunt Emerson, who's quite famous as a cartoonist over a British alternative underground cartoonist. So and he's like worked with the BBC. He draws for Beano, has drawn for Beano for many years. So it's a big deal that he still does them. So we've got to pay him. So anyway, we needed some funds for the album. So I said, because she's the drummer on the album, I said, can you do that gig with us, please? Come back to do that one. I get you want to leave, but can you do that? She was like, yeah, no problem at all. So that was going to be her final gig. Richie had said that he was leaving, and that was going to be his goodbye gig as well. We all really freaked out by it, but he's told us that he just needs a break. So he might be back at some point, but he needs a break. So that's great. That makes a lot more sense, and it makes us feel better. So he's having a break. So it was a big deal that it was going to be the last gig for Richie and last gig for Kay. So we're all set to play on Tuesday. And this is obviously a really manic week with the baby being born. And I was feeling guilty that I might have been with the baby for longer if I didn't have a gig, and all that sort of stuff. But the day ended up being quite dramatic, because I get a call from my drummer Kaylee to say, like, literally 2 hours before the gig, saying that she can't do it. She's got a brilliant reason to do it. I won't say why on here, because I don't think it's my place to say on here. But she had a legitimate reason why she couldn't do it, but she told me she couldn't help it. But I found out just before the gig. I'm like, oh my God, we can't do it without a drummer, because it's a big venue gig. We've got 2 rock bands playing before us. We have to do it with a drummer. So I phoned Dell, the one that I keep mentioning. He lives on the Isle of Wight now. And I had no battery on my phone, but I needed to solve this quickly, right? So I phoned him up and said, Dell, are you free tonight? This is a guy that runs an art centre. The likelihood of him being free on a weekday evening was a bit low, but that was the first thing I thought, because I thought it would be, musically, it'd be great if he could do it. But I was just like randomly seeing if it was possible. I said, are you free tonight? And he went, what? And then my phone died. So I was like, oh my God, I need to charge my phone somehow. I didn't have a charger, and I was supposed to be going to the hospital to see the baby. And luckily, my boss offered to drive me to the hospital, and she said, I think I've got a charger in the car. So I'm charging my phone in the car for this very short trip to the hospital from my college. I get some battery. She says, just stay in the car and phone him now while it's charging. And I say, yeah, I'll do that. So I phone him up and I say, and when my phone opens up again and the batteries come back, there's loads of missed calls from him. So I'm like, so I phone him again. And I'm like, are you free tonight? He said, well, actually, I am free. There's one night I'm free. Why do you want to know if I'm free? I say, would you like to play drums in Bemis again tonight? I know it's massively last minute, but something's happened. It'd be really cool if you can do it. And he went, well, I can do it, but it's going to cost you 90 quid because the car ferry. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. We'll do it. Yeah, we'll pay it. He was like, all right. What time do I need to get there for? So I said, can you get there for 6? And he said, I can get there for 6. I said, brilliant, that's cool. I was thinking, I don't know if I can get there for 6, but that's when I wanted to, ideally, for us to be sound checking. So he said, yeah, no problem. And then my phone died again. And then I thought, okay, it's solved. And then I realised once I got into the hospital that he hasn't played with us for years. He probably doesn't know half the set that we'd set up with Kaylee, who had been drumming with us for the last 10 years in every gig, pretty much. So I'm like, oh, this is probably a disaster. I need to get hold of him so that he knows the set. So I managed to get some charge from something. I can't remember what I did, but I managed to get some charge. and I quickly sent him the set list, and then that was all I could do. Eventually, when I get to the gig, he's not there at that point, but he gets in anyway, just after I get there, and he says, "I don't know half the set." And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. We'll change the set." So, so the band sit around a table and we're going, "Well, we could do that one. Should we do that one? Yeah, we could do that one. Let's do that one." And we come up with a really good set, but it's not the set that we were going to do. And we put a couple of acoustic ones in the middle, and because the atmosphere of the night, because it was so big and loud and upbeat, I took them out halfway through the set. I said, "Let's not do those. Let's crack on." Also, I could sense that time was going. We played for almost 2 hours after two support slots had done their gigs, and I knew that it was getting late from that point of view halfway through the set. But we did an encore. We did 2 encores as well. It was a great audience. Like I said, the numbers weren't great, but it was a great audience. But what was really mad was just the fact that Dale agreed to do the gig 2 hours before coming over and getting there for 6 for the sound check. And he was just absolutely brilliant. And he was also really funny because he used to sing in the band. He's the only drummer that sang in the gigs. Kaylee can sing. We used to say to her for years, "Oh, why don't you sing?" And she'd go, "No, I don't want to sing." But she can. She's got a great voice. And she did she had a solo thing as well going. But anyway, Dale did used to sing in the gigs. He had a vocal mic, and he's really funny as well. So there was a couple of moments where he was really funny on the mic in between the songs as well. So that was great. So in the end, it turned out to be really good. But oh my god, it was so stressful when I was like, I need a drummer in 2 hours' notice, and then thinking there's no way Dale's going to be free. And then when he said, "Well, I am free, but it's going to cost you 90 quid." So I'm intending to pay the support acts. If we pay the support acts and we've paid for the car ferry to come over from the Isle of Wight, I don't know how much spare money we're going to have, but the whole point was supposed to be a fundraiser for the album. So I don't know, but it was a great gig, and it was a good way to do a last gig with Richie for a while as well. I mean, madly, that was supposed to be Kay's final gig, but she couldn't do it. So her final gig was December. So yeah, because we've had interim depth drummers in between. And then when we played at the festival a couple of weeks back, we didn't have a drummer. So yeah, all a bit mad, but it was a really good gig. I did forget, because of the madness of going from the hospital to the venue, I did forget the merch as well. So that was a bit annoying because I think we would have sold a bunch of CDs that night as well. And we've got memory sticks with our first 5 albums on it as well. So I think we might have sold some of those. But it's fine. We've run out of t-shirts, so we wouldn't have sold any t-shirts. But yeah, that was all good. That sound was a message from my daughter. Everything's cool. So this is a little update. Yeah, it was a very dramatic night. It was crazy. So where are we? The next one was from Leslie. Yeah, Leslie got a emoji. Yeah. So there we are. A whole bunch of different things I've experienced as a gigging musician. I absolutely love it. What I always say to my students, it's a very special thing to be able to do gigs and to play live and play music and move people in the audience, to give them memories as much as your own memories. Gigs are a proper adventure. You go to different towns or even countries and you play a bunch of songs that can make someone's day. It can change their mood. It can make them, can cheer them up. It can make them have a moment as a couple as well sometimes. I remember, because one of my popular songs is a song I wrote for my wife called Brilliant Fire. And I remember 2 of my friends came to see us once, and I thought, and they kind of said that they said that Brilliant Fire ended up causing an argument in the back of the room because because she said to him, "You've never written a song for me like this," and it ended up being a massive thing. So they had a bit of a memorable moment in a negative way because of one of my songs. So that's quite funny. Margaret says 50. Is that milestone birthday coming up as well, or did you just celebrate? I forget now, but I remember thinking you were the same age as my sister. Yeah, I'm 55. So basically, this came about because I wrote most of this list, or half of the list, when I was 50. So when I was 50, 5 years ago, I did a bunch of 50 lists on Facebook. 50 favorite films, 50 favorite songs, 50 gig memories. So 50 favorite books, I think, as well. I think I did. I'm not sure about songs actually. 50 favorite books, 50 favorite films, 50 gig memories. But when I found the document again, some of it wasn't there. So I did do the 50 at the time. Obviously, I couldn't look it up because I've lost that Facebook account. So I thought I'd finish it off and talk about it now, because Tuesday was a bit of a landmark gig. So we've got other gigs booked for this year. We've got other festivals booked. So it's not like we've stopped, but we have we had that important moment where we thought we were saying goodbye to Kaylee, and we were saying goodbye to Richie for a while. And it was just a funny story, the fact that we had to get this drummer from somewhere, and the fact that I was expecting, I didn't know what to expect. And in the end, I wasn't really looking forward to the gig, because the week had got so complicated with the baby and all sorts of other things. And then by the time we were sound checking and everything was working, I was looking forward to it, and it was a great gig. And it couldn't have gone better, really, in a lot of ways. So that was all good. So Margaret says, 5 years passed already. Well, that was pandemic time, so a blur. Yeah, absolutely. That's you talk about pandemic times. I mean, my birthday is May the 28th. So I was 50 in 2021, May the 28th. It was a really memorable birthday. I had some amazing things happen, and I don't know if you saw me share it on the community post, but my daughter did this amazing video where she got loads of people from family, from friends, ex-students to send me. She did this compilation video of all these people doing birthday messages, and then she ended it with Gigi Edgley from Farscape sending me a birthday message as well. She paid for that, clearly, as a cameo thing. But that was amazing, and I was like, it's just a lovely gift. And I was like really treated really well, spoilt rotten really by the staff of the college. I had this huge Cookie Monster cake, and just I had so many presents and cards and lovely comments, and the students I was teaching at the time completely stopped their lesson to make a big deal as well. And it's just a really lovely birthday, really one of my favorite birthdays I've ever had. And that was May the 28th, and a month after that I was in hospital, and at the risk of dying, and felt like every night I felt like I was dying, and it took me 2 months to recover, and I lost my voice, I lost the ability to walk. It was just horrific. So I've talked about it before, so I won't go on about it, but it was crazy turnaround from a lovely birthday to one of the most dramatic things that has ever happened to me. And ever since then, I've felt pretty mortal and didn't used to think about that sort of thing before. When which is why, because other things came off this. So because I was in hospital and it was during COVID, so I wasn't allowed visitors. Apparently, my daughter tells me that my wife was going spare and really kind of upset by the whole thing. And her and my two kids wanted to visit, they couldn't. And it was so I was on my own in the hospital, and by 8 o'clock at night I was so scared. But partly because of that, my wife was like, cheer you up, buy an instrument. What instrument do you want? Do you want another guitar? And I said, well, I've always wanted an oud, so can I have an oud? So through Louis's help, because Louis lives in Brighton, and he lived in Brighton at the time. He was doing his degree in music at the time. So he was in Brighton, and there's a shop called Hobgoblin Music that sells folky instruments, and they had several ouds in there. So he was going on there doing these video messages with him, talking about, well, there's this one. Do you want this one, Dad? Do you want this one? And I'm not an expert on ouds, but there were certain things I thought, oh, that looks nice one and all that. And we were looking at, and I wanted the one that, I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, we picked an oud and we bought it, and that was the present for me to try and cheer me up. And ever since then, it's terrified me. It's the last 5 years, I've hardly touched it because it's just it looks so terrifying to play it. But we did tune it up, and it's just got bizarre tuning. So anyway, that happened. But also another thing that happened was, because of the whole dramatic thing with me being in the hospital and everything, I'd always wanted a second wedding because our first wedding day was very dramatic. So I've always wanted a second one, and Ali wasn't really fussed about doing a second one. And then she said, let's have the second wedding that you wanted. So that year we got married again. So we renewed our vows, and it was just the most lovely day. It was a fantastic day. And it was like, on the one hand, my first wedding was terrible, mostly down to my family who decided to ruin it. But this time it was just such a perfect day. It was lovely. So that was really nice. So that came about because of all that as well, because I think, I don't know what made her, because she said this as I came out. It wasn't like, she didn't say it because she was worried I wouldn't come out of hospital, but I was out. I mean, it took me ages to recover. I generally, it seems I'm going on about a bit now, but I have talked about it before, but it took me ages to start to talk properly. And I was just like this incredibly husky voice. I put these messages up on Facebook. I had so many messages from Facebook. It was amazing, and like presents and stuff. It was lovely, but I couldn't talk. But also the walking thing was bizarre because I was so weak that it took me. There's a convenience store, little supermarket, I guess, just down the road. It's about 20 houses away. So normally it takes me about 2 minutes to walk down there quick. 2 minutes to get, so it's like, I don't know, 5 to 11, and they're just about to close. I need a pint of milk. I can just quickly get there and get a pint of milk. Right? It's really close. And when I first said to my wife, I'm going to try and go outside and walk, we're trying to see how far we can get, see if I can get to the shop. It took me 25 minutes the first time to walk, and I was like, I was incredibly slow. I kept stopping. I was finding it hard. She was holding me while I was doing it. It was just the most weird thing. I was taken out on a wheelchair to Chichester during that period as well. So I had an experience going out for the day with my son pushing me in a wheelchair, and that was horrible. But yeah, 25 minutes took me to walk to the shop, and then I kind of rested for a bit, and then I had another 25. It was like an hour to go back and forth or something that should have taken 5 minutes. So yeah, it was a long period of recovering. And actually that could have been another gig memory, because we were booked to play at the big festival in Portsmouth, Victoria's Festival, that year, and I was still recovering through the summer. And I said to the rest of the band, look, I might not be able to do the gig, but I'm not going to cancel. Do the gig without me, because there's like 4 singers in the band, and you can do it without me. You don't need me there. And they're all going, no, we can't do it. It's not Bemis without you being there, so we're not going to do it. I was like, no, that's ridiculous. Do the festival slot, do the set, just do it without me. Like, blah blah, I can sing that song without me. Blah blah, I can sing that song. You guys can sing that. We could have easily done it, but they kind of agreed, because I also said, look, if you need me there, I can talk through the introductions. There's no way I can sing, but I can very quietly talk if you want, or at least just be on stage. I don't know, just so they do the gig. And then by the time we got to the end of August, so this happened at the end of June, and by the end of August, I started to get my voice back. And once I started trying to sing, and I started to, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is actually working. I'm getting something back. And I sent them a message with me singing, and they were like, "Oh my god!" You know, it was a really lovely moment. And then I did sing most of my parts that I would normally sing in the songs. And I had a COVID beard, so you can see that in some of the in the first year of the channel, I think it was. I've got a really big beard, and that was my COVID beard because I decided I'd only shave it off once I was fully better. So while I was recovering, I kept growing it because for me it was like a ritualistic thing that would be nice feeling, the feeling of shaving off because I was better. so that was a thing. But yeah, it was a horrible time. Where am I with this? Right, I'm here. So going right back before the whole COVID story, I was saying to Chris, I can't wait to see the first video. Tell us what it's about. So Christopher Stout's just starting the BookTube adventure, and he said he's going to do one on Peter Straub's collection, Houses Without Doors, and how it helped me as a teenager. Awesome. So he was saying that he was influenced by the emotional reading video that I did. So he's clearly thinking about how Peter Straub's book helped him emotionally. So that's fantastic. That would be well good. Elaine says, Cat and I joke she didn't know there was a London outside of England. Yeah, I didn't know there was a London outside of England. I had no idea there was a London in Canada. That's just hilarious. Flip the perspective. Your ancestors hopped onto America and named places after yours. Yeah, absolutely. No, I get that, Leslie. But it's just like funny, isn't it? It's like why don't you make up new names? You know, I'm with Cat on that one. There's so much I don't know. Get them, Leslie. Just got in. Yeah, Margaret. I put that up, didn't I? Because I saw you appear. Everyone's saying hi, Margaret. Cat says thanks, Leslie. Elaine trying to make me feel like I'm the only one who didn't know. Well, there's a Portsmouth in New Hampshire, isn't there? So that always cracks me up. Most people don't know that. Tease you a bit, yeah. So Leslie saying hi. Got to tease you a bit. No drummer last minute. Yes, yeah. Some gigs it's not as stressful, but that one I knew that it had to be that we had to have a drummer. It was a big rocky gig in a big venue, big sound, and there were 2 rock bands before us. We could not fix it, and I wasn't sure how to do it. And then, in fact, if Dale wasn't free, I don't know what I would have done. So yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it's been absolutely mad. So when I got home from work today, which was a little earlier as well for various reasons, I was just so exhausted. I was barely opening my eyes, and but I knew that would filter through my body, and by the time I'd be doing this, I'd have a second wind. So I wasn't panicking, but oh my god, I've been so tired. Yeah, I think I've already shown this. Yeah, I've shown that before. Time has gotten confusing. Absolutely. Yeah. My daughter paid for Gigi Edgley, so it was definitely going to be her because I don't know if you know the character Tiana in Farscape, but yeah, I massively fancied her. So her appearing on screen was just like, oh my god, and she's saying my name. It was crazy. It's a lovely video, and she was going. Gigi Edgley was saying, "Oh, and your daughter tells me you're a big fan of Farscape and you're a big fan of Tiana." And she was like saying, "I hope you have a lovely birthday." Blah, blah, and just it was quite a long cameo because I think I've heard some celebrities do really short ones that are a bit of a rip off, but she was talking for quite a while. It was really nice. Yeah. The whole thing was, I'll never forget it. It's crazy. Absolutely, make the most of every day. Absolutely, make every day matter. I wanted to do. Oh, an oud. Oh, an oud. A nude. I'm going to tell her that was an interpretation. She will absolutely piss herself laughing. I thought you said nude. An oud. An oud. It's an Arabic guitar. It's the precursor to the lute, and the lute is obviously the precursor to the guitar. So it's an old instrument. It's an old instrument, the oud, and it sounds amazing, but you've got to be able to play it first. Brilliant. It's also a beige color. Yeah. Go to Paris all the time. It's Paris, Tennessee. Yeah. Paris, Tennessee. There's Paris, Texas. There's also Paris in Tennessee. Oh my God, how confusing. I'm over here checking out London, Ontario on Google Maps. Fanshawe Pioneer Village looks fun. Cool. They have a Walmart. There's a lot of places have that, don't they? Sounds fun, Constance. Yeah, I need to go over at some point. There's a Paris in Canada as well. I've driven through Cuba and Dublin in multiple states. Well, multiple states of your own. That looks like you've driven through Cuban states when you've been in multiple states, as in, maybe you were drunk, maybe you were tired, maybe you were excited. Pioneer Village is awesome. That's cool. I need to look this up. Hold on. Until you find another Shepton Mallet, you haven't lived. Shepton Mallet, people. That's the place to go. Or Wesley Darning. Weasley Darning. Weasley Darning. I don't know that, but that's a great name. So, yeah. I think that's all my stories about me gigging. I do love doing it. I was going to say one other thing. I just made it up. I am going to start a new thing. So we are going to fix Bemis. We're replacing a couple of those people. We've got an overarching plan with the drummer. We're bringing back an older drummer, but he's not ready yet. It could have been literal and mental states, Gareth. Yeah. Hold on. Can you see my house on Google Maps? Everyone look up Lane's house while I listen to what I'm saying. Yeah, so we're going to do that. But also, like I said right at the beginning of the chat, I said I don't like playing gigs on my own. I like to have at least one person with me. So I do get a lot of fun out of doing duos. But the full band thing, I absolutely love it. Listening to the whole band while they're playing and putting all the dynamics in the songs, I love it. But I don't really like playing on my own. But I'm going to try and develop a love of playing on my own. And I'm going to do lots of solo gigs. That's my plan. So I haven't announced it yet. But probably tomorrow, I'm going to do a video on Facebook and Instagram announcing that I've already got one solo gig booked. I'm going to book another one, a longer 2-hour one. I'm going to book for the autumn locally. And I'm going to just basically develop a schedule for some solo gigs. So it means I've got to pick the right songs that don't need big instrumental sections and stuff like that. But I've got a fair amount of songs I can do for that. So I'm kind of excited to do it, but I'm also scared because I know I don't enjoy it. I get very nervous. But the whole point is once I've done a few, hopefully I won't be nervous anymore, and that can be part of what I do. So I'm not just relying on the band all the time. So that's my intention, and I'm going to announce that properly tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. I had a really weird thing today where it was the last lesson for my second year today, and I asked them, "What do you want to do?" you know, you can do whatever you want. You can play a game that we always play at the end of the term. You can play that game if you want. You can just jam if you want. We can do a different game where we could mess around. And I had this idea, we could do this game if you want. What do you want to do? And they they all asked me to just play some songs, as in live. So I said, oh, okay. So I played them some songs, and like, I don't like playing solo, but actually that experience today also helped me out thinking, oh, well, that went down quite well. And it's really nice actually, because one of the students asked for a song that's getting a bit of traction on Spotify at the moment, called It Could Be Anyone, which is a song about homelessness. So it was really nice that he asked for that, and I played that one on my own. There's a bunch of stuff I could play on my own. I've just got to figure out the right set, and I've got to get into it so that it becomes normal for me to do solo gigs. I think that'd be really nice. So if in a year's time I am kind of dovetailing full band Bemis stuff with solo gigs as well, that'd be really good. And that'd help me also to raise money for my holidays, because the money from the band was going into my holidays. But because we're going to put lots of money in the album release and stuff, I can't do that yet. So, but the album is going to come out now, which is good. So that's got some really good songs on it. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's going to be announced tomorrow on Instagram and Facebook, saying that I'm going to be doing solo gigs, and I've got one booked already. I might try and book another one beforehand, say I've got two on the go, because I can. There's a venue in mind that I can probably book it quite quickly. So I may even, yeah. So I might do that before I announce it. But yeah, kind of exciting, but kind of scary as well. But I did loads of COVID gigs on my own. I didn't always do it with my son because he wasn't always living here. So there was, during lockdown, there was periods where they would allow you to, well, if it was a lockdown, like there wasn't a lockdown and then they started lockdown again, it might be that Louis had moved back for a moment and then he'd be here and then he was in the house living with us and it was fine. But there was definitely a period where he couldn't come back because the lockdown had happened, and it was just me and my wife here. So I definitely did some solo lockdown gigs as well. I did a lot of solo lockdown gigs. So you know, I know what it sounds like when I play on my own. It's not like it's completely fresh, but I just don't do it very often because I always enjoy it more as a duo. So, you know. So there we are. So that was the last thing I was going to say on the gig in front. Someone's playing music outside my house, and it's 1:30 in the morning. Oh, someone's in a car. That's what it is. Constance says starting a new thing on YouTube. Yeah, you won't get monetized. Cat, it's the one that looks like it's in the middle of the jungle. Cat says it's the one that looks, that's Elaine's house, I think. I think Eva's looks like that from space as well. The way she described trying to scare the wrong people away. Elaine says my neighbours can't see my house, but you can see it from up high. Well, yeah, there's lots of greenery around it, isn't there, I think. So the creepers in the trees watching you. I tell you what, this time of night, sometimes the foxes are really loud and you can hear them screaming their head off. But I can hear music and a load of people talking. It's 1:30 in the morning. Oh well. So yeah, I'm going to leave it a few. Oh, hold on, something else. Are they at least playing good music? It was some kind of hip hop. So didn't recognize it, but it was some guy rapping on some kind of breakbeat. It's stopped now. Yeah, and they're driving off. There's a guy that lives next door who's a young guy. So yeah. Right. Well, what often happens is you start saying goodbye and someone makes another comment. So I'm just going to pause for a moment in case there's another comment. But thank you so much for joining me in this little chat about playing music live. Keep supporting live music, because I do think that in an age where AI seems to be taking over, I do genuinely believe that people want live music. That will keep going, because there's nothing better than music being heard live. If you just wanted recorded music, then you could well be fooled by thinking something's not AI and it is. But the live experience is unique, because obviously it's someone doing something on stage at the time in front of you, and you're getting that whole thing. So I do think it's important to do that. So whenever you can afford it, or wherever there's music around you, support live music, because it's awesome. Thanks, Elaine, and thank you for popping in. Good night, Gov. Fabulous contribution to the world. Oh, that's amazing. Thanks, everybody. And look out for Christopher Stout's new BookTube channel. There's this Peter Stroud videos appearing, which is very exciting. And check out the channels that all the people have been commenting, please. That'd be awesome. And I'm kind of being a little bit more live streamy solo while Dave's recovering with his shoulder. But we will be back. And I'm hoping we'll have a really amazing announcement as well about our special guest. But I'll just let these people come up on screen as well. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. And see you soon. Bye.